are back of another episode of the Everyday Podcast. And don't mind my nerves, guys. I haven't recorded an episode for a while, but we are back. Season 2, episode 1. How do you feel being on your first? Is this your first podcast?
Yes.
How do you feel?
Just as nervous as you are, probably. Very nervous. I think it's exciting, though.
Yeah.
It's definitely a new avenue, a new space for me, but yeah, we're gonna have fun.
May unlock something later
Who
on down the
knows?
line for you to.
Yeah.
You have a good voice. You could, talk, do something on your own later down the line too.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
That would be. But so today we're gonna talk about social media and presences. Your presence on social media, both of ours, because I mean, especially in today's day and age, it's everything. It's the whole movement. People growing on social media like that, viral videos, and people making full-time incomes on social media. So just describe a little bit about yourself and what you like to do on social media. I see you do a lot of home DIY stuff, so let's get into that.
Actively sitting in one of my projects.
Literally, we are sitting in a project in the making right now, okay?
Well, hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for
My
coming.
name is Carolina. You can look me up at GatoBXO. But yeah, I'm pretty much growing pretty quickly on Instagram and TikTok, and that's a big change for me, right? Because you go from having like private personal accounts with like the people you know,
right, to people you don't even know,
right?
And new people following you, adding you every day.
Yeah, it goes from almost being a safe space, a familiar space, to now you're open to the public.
Yeah.
You're open to everyone's opinion, and although it's really good, it's also something very scary to be thrusted into all of a sudden.
Yeah, I could imagine that.
Yeah, so I love to post. Currently, I'm really into, like, I guess, lifestyle, and it just so happens that a lot of what I focus my time on is homemaking, DIYs, everything creative. So that's what I do.
What even made you want to even get into that? Because not a lot of people will have the patience to, like, that's what it comes down to. Not a lot of people have that patience to want to do things themselves, especially in today's age. It's who can we find to do it for us?
Yeah.
TaskRabbit, hiring other people to come and do stuff, or family members. No one wants it, or they'd rather buy it already done versus taking something beautiful like the one you have in the kitchen and stripping it down and repainting it into a different color.
Yeah.
So
I think part of it is that I'm a perfectionist, and it's like I'd rather trust myself with it than have someone else do it.
That part.
Even when my husband wants to pitch in and like help, I'm like overseeing his shoulder, like, oh, I really like your technique, but
I am when I'm cooking.
Yeah.
And someone wants to help me, I'm just like, just go.
that
just
are
go.
we, right?
I can do it. I don't need any help.
Yeah. So that's kind of maybe where it stems from, but really my parents were the ultimate DIYers. My mom and my dad, in their own ways, are very creative, and I just saw it growing up.
Yeah.
And so in my family,
This is what you were used to.
it was a culture of creativity, and it was encouraged, and it was just what I saw.
I also feel like that mostly comes a lot from, I don't know how to say this, in it comes from a cultural background too, because a lot of that just stems from that a lot of times, where it's like something may not be perfect, but we're going to do it ourselves to make it what we want it to be, you know, or it's like you see something and you want to buy it brand new. It's like, we have this perfectly fine one right here. We're just going to tune it up a little bit, so I just feel like it's just like how you grew up in the culture background you came from too.
Yeah, for sure. I know that my mom, both of my parents come from very humble beginnings. And so, like you said, it kind of touches on, right, like, well, we really can't hire it out, so we're going to do it.
So we're going to do it ourselves.
And we're going to perfect it, and we're going to have these skills that we can continue to use later on.
And pass them down.
Yeah, so my dad was very practical about it, right? Yeah. He was like the home improvement guy, and I'm going to do oil paintings, and we're going to put them around the house. And my mom was more so like, I'm going to bake your cakes and decorate them. I'm going to make your own piñatas. I'm going to, like, she was just like, she was just the type to always just do it herself.
Instead of, and especially just like, if you could do it better yourself.
She could.
Then it's like, if I could bake a cake better than a place I could buy it from, I'm going to bake it for you.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like, especially with my mom, it's like having a lot of friends all the time, or taking cupcakes to school every year for birthdays. It's like,
she made those for you?
Oh, yeah.
She didn't just go to Sam's Club.
She did it. So she did it when we were younger.
Okay.
And then as we got older and I got into middle school and stuff like that, no, she's like, we're going to Jewel.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna buy them because there's too many kids.
Yeah.
That you can hand them out
That's
to.
nice that she
But
kinda
especially
took
when
the time.
we were younger, she would. But yeah,
That's nice.
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, like I don't know. I saw like all your stuff, and first of all, it was a weird moment. Like you said, it's like it goes from a safe space and people that you know to then people you don't know. And obviously, I knew who you were, but I've never seen your social media before.
Yeah.
And like besides the one time that I saw it was a brief add you and then
Yeah.
go back to conversation. So then when I started, it was one day I started scrolling on TikTok
Yeah.
on like my For You page, and I started seeing your videos. I was like, I know this person. Why do I know this person? And then I was like, saw your following. I was like, there's no way I know this person. They have like so many followers. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know anyone personally that has like that big of a social media presence
Yeah.
so far. And I was like, oh my God, I do know that person.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, okay, yeah, we need to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because when I met you, that was not the case
really.
at all.
Which I think we met maybe like
2020.
Yes.
2021. Closer towards 2021. It was at, I think it was at a party. Was it at
it was at a mutual friends party.
Yeah.
I went there because my husband's friends with the family.
Exactly.
And you were
And
just
I was there because my ex was friends
Yeah.
with the family.
Yeah, and so
I don't
we
know what it
ended
was
up in the
for,
same
but
room.
yeah. And
I don't either.
at the time, you had just got engaged.
Yes, we have.
That was brand new.
Yes.
You had just got engaged at the time. And
Right.
that's what we were connecting on. Because I was like, oh my God, your picture's going to be amazing. I can't wait.
And then I didn't post any
And then you didn't post any pictures.
No, yeah, it was great. It was really, it was stroke of luck,
Yeah.
right? But it's funny you say that I came up on your For You page because that's how a lot of people who know me personally
Yeah.
have gotten to realize that I'm like blowing up a little bit.
Right.
And I say that very humbly.
Yes.
But it's because they're scrolling and they're like, oh, this video has a lot of views.
Yeah.
That's
But
just Carolina.
That's just right.
And so they, they come on my page and they're like, dude, you're doing this, all of this. And so it kind of goes from there. And it's always funny to go to like family parties. And I have a little 12-year-old cousin who's like, oh my God, you're famous.
And you're like, I'm really not yet.
I'm really not.
You're like, not yet. But
yeah.
So I guess that leads into my next question. Where do you want your social media to go? Have you ever sat down and thought about that? Or is it still kind of just, you're still processing the fact that you do have this platform, regardless of who reaches out to you from it?
Yeah, so I would say I'm still treading lightly.
Yeah.
I'm definitely treading lightly because I'm not sure if the presence that I've created for myself is going to require me to niche down, and I don't know that I particularly want
You
that.
don't want to kind of, in a different term, like dim your light down?
Yes.
In a way?
Yeah, because I'm a person who's really like, I go deep into one
Yeah.
hobby and then I resurface and then I'm
Yeah.
like, cool, okay, I'm over it for a bit.
Yeah.
And then I'm on to the next hobby.
Yeah.
And so, my dog is just
I've got
wanting
a test.
pets.
I've been just trying to pet her, and then when I pull my
Yeah.
hand away, she uses her nose
Like,
to
how
get
dare
underneath.
you stop petting me?
How dare you? It's okay, Shadow.
So yeah, I'm hoping this. I'm hoping that the audience that I create and the community that I create is open to whatever I'm doing in the moment.
Will like
and more of
stay with
yes,
you and follow you, and not
adapt.
just with you, and they will adapt to your changes.
for sure. So I'm really hoping for that. I'm trying to put a lot of care into the community that I'm building.
Yeah.
But I guess in terms of where I want it to go, I'm open to it being bigger than it is now.
Yeah.
I have a lot of people reaching out, brands reaching out.
I was just gonna veer into that. Like, so do you like? How is that? I'll let you go first, and then I'll tell
Yeah.
you experience about my first brand ever reaching out to me and how that made me feel. So I'll let you go
Okay,
first. and
interesting.
How?
Okay.
Just talk about that whole experience.
So at first, I'm probably the worst person to try to sell something to.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are and what you're selling. I'm always gonna say no.
Yeah.
Right? Like for some reason, I have this
You're
built-in
like,
fear that
no.
I'm gonna get scammed. And
or it's just
so-
not going to be like a real thing. You're just
Yeah.
going to waste unnecessary time.
Yeah, and actually because of that, I'm pretty sure that I missed out on a lot of good deals because
You're like-
I was like, But then eventually I started realizing like, oh, these are real brands reaching
Yeah.
out with real budgets who
Yeah.
are like looking for people promote
market
different
and
things.
promote their product or
For
whatever
sure.
they got going on.
Yeah, and so I would say the first couple deals that I got weren't really necessarily like sponsorships. They were more gifted collabs.
Like, we want you to have this and just like make a post about it, or just we want you to have it.
Complimentary,
Yeah.
complimentary gifted PR packages and stuff like that. And so, you know, you're getting the product, might as well just kind of like review it if you want and if you see fit for your audience. But even that was pretty cool for me because back then I'm like, I have to go buy this stuff.
Exactly.
Like,
now it's being given
yeah.
to you, and then I guess it also can change the perspective a little bit to be like, wait a minute, like if I keep growing in my platform, like I could actually get the brands that I want to give me stuff, you know, which is true, you know?
Yeah.
So
it's very interesting to just be thrust into that and eventually get started on sponsored deals that actually are like having a budget for you and creating space for you in that way. And it's very interesting. It is a whole world and
a whole different world.
Yes. And it kind of, in a sense, it like you realize that a lot of these influencers who are out there with big platforms, they need to have a business side to it.
They do.
I'm realizing that it's not just all the glamour behind, like in front of the camera.
It's a business behind it, and then it kind of makes you think like, okay, if they're reaching out to me, that means I fit within whatever their business development is, you know, where I can help project that higher, you know?
For sure. Yeah, and I understand why a lot of people go through management, talent agencies, have their own accountants. Like, it's because it's a whole thing.
Or people, when they get to that level, have their own managers reach out to the brands for them.
Yeah.
And they negotiate the deals because
now
it's a business. And now you're pitching, or you have someone to pitch it for you. And
yeah, it's an entire world. And so for someone who was doing it as a hobby, who is still doing it as a hobby.
And it's slowly starting could potentially be more than just a hobby.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I'm like, all right.
You're like
I have a full-time job.
You're like,
so I've got to find the time and the energy to pour into that
because
and
it
nurture
is time consuming too.
It is.
And it's like when you do it, you have to do it with pure intent too, for it to turn into something.
It's a one-man show.
It is.
Especially when you're little.
Like,
when you're little.
That's like, just for now. That's going to change. You're not going to think you're so little in a couple of months or a couple of years when you're really just, you know, doing your thing.
Who knows? We'll see, right?
See you on a billboard somewhere.
Yeah,
like for a
campaign,
ad campaign or something.
Yeah, so I told my husband, I'm like, so I have to be the talent, I have to be the editor, I have to do the voiceovers, I've got to then pitch.
Everything.
So.
Especially when you're starting off by yourself, like you have to do all of that. Especially when a brand reaches out to you, you have to do the voiceovers, you have to do the marketing, take the pictures, edit, like you have to do everything.
Yeah.
As if you're like your own media agency.
Really?
All on your own.
Like, all right.
It's like, all right, we're ready for this.
Yeah.
No, we're not, but we're just gonna.
Really not, but we're gonna
put the face on.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I'm wondering how it made you feel though, because you kind of alluded to.
Oh yeah, so I don't have that nowhere near as many followers as you yet. I aspire to get there.
Existence.
But I did out of nowhere when I started my fitness journey. I started consistently posting every day in the gym, taking pictures, posting consistently about my fitness journey, and it was gravitating people to really attach onto my story, whatever that was at the time, you know. And hold on, oh god, the word in my brain was not the word that was trying to come out. Crazy to think about. Nike Chicago started liking a whole bunch of my fitness photos in the beginning stages of me posting.
That's exciting.
Like whoever runs their Instagram or social media account would start liking my photos, liking my reels consistently, and then that kind of gave me that more of a boost to be like, okay, we're gonna keep this thing going to see where this could go. And then, you know, ended up not really turning into something that I thought it was going to, and that for a split second maybe be like, well, what happened? You were liking my reels, liking my photos, reaching out to me, you were like consistent, and then all of a sudden like I didn't change, but you guys did.
Yeah.
And for what reason?
It's a little discouraging.
But it was discouraging for a tad bit, but then I kind of realized I'm like, that maybe that just wasn't my angle for where I was supposed to be. Maybe I'm not maybe my fitness journey was supposed to just be my fitness journey and not publicized
Yeah.
on that level of a scale, you know, to get me to
Yeah.
some other level, you know, which takes me to my next topic with just what happened. So I had an underwear brand reach out to me.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I used to model for like 2 years when I was younger and for this college modeling group in the city. And I went to New York Fashion Week.
No way.
Had like photo shoots and stuff. It was so cool.
Yeah.
And even from, oh my gosh, sorry.
New York. I love New York.
Oh my God, New York is like a second home to me. It is beautiful.
I would leave in a split second.
I would if I got an opportunity to make enough money to live in New York. I'd be
I'm
gone.
out.
I'd be gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
I could leave my
Same.
car. I don't need it. You don't need it. Public transportation. I'm gone.
My mortgage, forget it.
Forget it.
I'm leaving.
Rent the house out. Honestly, if you own your house, rent it out. Somebody else make that money and finance a living.
I'm out of here. So you were modeling.
So I started modeling. And I wouldn't really even say it was at a big scale as people think it was when you say you started modeling. Because I was very shelled, very closed off, didn't know who I was, very not comfortable with my body in any kind of way.
And how old were you at the time?
I'm 25 now. I wasn't 21 yet at all.
Okay, so
I was like 17.
Yeah, you were still young.
Yeah, I just graduated high school.
Just getting to know yourself.
Yeah, I didn't even know who I was at all. And my friends and it was with Columbia College, if you're familiar with Columbia College in Chicago.
Okay.
It was a group that a whole bunch of fashion kids put together at the school, and they actually grew it to be something really nice because whenever we put on fashion shows, they had local designers front like the clothing for us to wear, and like they would sell out. That's like cool. Whatever facility they would rent out, like people would be there to watch the fashion shows, and they would put on these big things. And there was I call him like a media. He's a photographer, but he also does like media like directing and stuff like that too. He goes to Fashion Week every year for his company, and he puts applications out for people to submit to be a model on his team and go out to New York. He'll have you're guaranteed like a video, like a promotion video and some photo shoots like around the city. And then fashion shows, he'll set you up with the auditions to go audition. And then that's the only thing where it's like it's not guaranteed, because if you audition, you may not get it, but you always get photos and like a promotion video. I've never been to New York at the time, so I was like, this is just my chance just to go to New York and only have to pay $700 total to go to New York for a flight and hotel, and then like everything else is taken care of. I applied, I got in, and I was like, I'm going to New York for fashion, like for Fashion Week.
Wow.
And it was like a surreal moment, but I definitely wasn't ready for it because I didn't go to any auditions because I was nervous and I didn't know who I was and I didn't have an image to present to people. So I'm like, I'm not going to embarrass myself around these people who are like actually about what they're doing. And I'm just kind of here just because I've never been to New York before and I wanted to see what this is about. But then it came full circle and I went back to New York a couple months ago and it was amazing. And I was there for like a little over a week and I went for Spotify and it was great. But so that led to me just kind of finding like who I was and really just getting comfortable with my body. But I didn't really fully get comfortable with that until my fitness journey. Yeah. Because then I'm really starting to like slim down, feeling good, feeling confident, like feeling more comfortable like in certain clothing and just see myself in a different light. And this underwear brand reached out to me because I manifested because I've always wanted to work with an underwear brand. Even when I was like a little bit chunkier, I was like, one day I want to work with Calvin Klein. I want to be like in an underwear campaign with Calvin Klein. That's the goal.
Very specific
That's
dream.
Still the dream. Well, because it's like when you think of underwear, Calvin Klein is the leading underwear brand. So it's like I want to be an underwear model with Calvin Klein. We're saying this today, so if it happens. If it happens, y'all. It was
at my dinner table.
It was at her dinner table today. But I always thought that was something cool to always want to do, especially being like a bigger kid. It was like, that would be awesome to have that kind of representation in that space. Yeah. And then this underwear brand called Mackenzie and Park reached out to me out of nowhere. Never heard of them before. Never even was like putting that energy out there to want to even work with an underwear brand like at the moment.
Right.
And they're not even based in the U.S. They're based in Toronto, Canada.
Okay.
They had reached out to me. They sent me a message on Instagram saying, "Hello, Christopher. We love your content. We love everything like about your page, and we would love to send you free underwear in exchange for content.
Yeah.
Post, create whatever content you want. We have some ideas if you take some photos that we could use like on our that we could use on our page.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing the photo shoot next weekend. So,
wow, okay.
But yeah, they sent me the underwear and I got it and I still was just like,
whoa,
like, is this like a real thing? And then I created a little promo video. I have the paid partnership logo branding like on the video with Mackenzie and Park.
Yeah.
They're the most sweetest people on the planet. I got to pick out every piece of underwear that I wanted.
Yeah.
And didn't have to pay for a single thing. They just wanted me to have it, and they're like great. So
isn't that so odd?
it is so odd because I was like, me?
Yes.
I was like,
you feel so honored.
And I don't look like any of the other model like that's on their website.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I was kind of just like, this is cool because
Yeah.
this is representation. Like,
yeah. You're bringing something
I'm bringing something
different.
totally different to the perspective of the table of like an underwear model and
Mm-hmm.
creating content for their brand. And I'm about to do a cool photo shoot and I'm putting it out there. I'm like, if y'all fly me out to Toronto, I will come out there and do a photo shoot for the brand, like
That's
to be
awesome.
on your website, or if you all to just like be a part of the brand. So, and they are like a small brand when it comes to, they're a big brand when it comes to people like supporting and buying their underwear, but they're a small brand when it comes to social media, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So
Budget limited. kind of
right. So
thing.
it's like social media, they don't have a super, super big following yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel kind of honored about that. 'Cause it's like, okay, I don't have that many I don't have that much more followers than you guys. So it's like, as you guys grow and as I help you grow, I'm growing with you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
Yeah.
and as long as this
You
is
both
like
are in the seed
we're both in
stage.
the seed stage, and it's like it's a cool partnership because, like, as you grow, I can grow with you. It's
Yeah.
like that loyalty. It's like when y'all really get like 10,000 plus followers, like I've been with y'all the whole entire way.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Thank God, like hopefully it leads to that where I
Yeah.
can stay with them for that long and they keep wanting me to like create content for them. But yeah, this literally just happened like last month.
That's so exciting.
So I'm
Yeah,
like,
wow,
and I'm like,
that's
it
awesome.
kind of in my head about it because I was like, I don't have that many followers on it. I only have like
yeah.
2,200 followers on Instagram. So it's like,
Yeah.
but that also just shows how much you can do with very little followers.
100%.
You can,
Yeah.
people can have brand deals and have only like 1,000 followers. You don't have to have that many it's about what you can provide versus, you know, especially if they have the following and you don't, like that's going to follow, you know?
Yeah,
So
for sure. The exposure.
the exposure and everything is what it's about and it's going to follow. And then if the brand is pure, it's about the person, it's about the relationship and about the like integrity of the person for what you guys can give me, you know?
Yeah.
So
It is very odd to
So,
receive
yeah.
things for free, especially because it's like 9 times out of 10, I'm already going to buy certain
Right.
things. Like I'm just a regular customer.
I'm going to buy it regardless.
Right. And so all of a sudden you're having packages come to your house for free and you're like,
And you're like,
do you know how much this lotion costs?
Right.
And it's like,
you're like, this is like $100 for this
You're
little
like,
jar.
yeah, and it's
especially if it's
just-
makeup or like skincare products.
Yeah.
Don't even get started.
yeah,
with
and
the
I get
pricing.
a lot of that. I get a lot of skincare, which like, thank God, right? I love skincare.
And
And my
that's-
husband uses it too.
Right.
But,
You're like, that's cutting the cost for me, but like that's also like put in perspective, like wow, like
yeah, but it also helps me establish that relationship because even
Exactly.
if it's just a PR or a gifted
then
collab,
you'll always be on that PR list.
yeah. So it's
know?
like now I have that door open
Yeah.
to potential paid collabs
Exactly.
and everything
'Cause
else that comes with
because
it.
like that's not ever money's never the goal motive
Yeah.
when you have like pure intentions of why you want to do things. But let's be honest, that's always is kind of like the behind your head thought of like, okay, hopefully maybe one day I can get paid for this.
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Because there's people out
it's
there
a
who
way,
are, you know?
right. It's a way to maintain the ability to create.
Right.
Because it kind of, in a sense, yes, all of this starts with a lot of pure intention.
It
Like
does.
you said, you sharing your journey. You were
Exactly.
on that fitness journey regardless of who was watching.
Regardless.
And
And-
for me, I started posting regardless of who was watching.
Like I didn't care who liked my reels,
Yeah.
and that was another thing. So I've never tapped into making reels before
Okay.
until I got into my fitness journey. I've always just made posts
Yes.
like on my page or posts on my story, and that was it. Once I started getting to the fitness realm of things, I started making reels, and my reels started getting 2,000 views like per reel. I was like, that's like the amount of followers I have. So that means like, you know, that means at least all 2,000 of those people are viewing my page, like are viewing my reel. And it would be like in an instant, I would post at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, wake up the next day, 1,500 views.
Yeah.
Like just out of nowhere, it's like, y'all don't go to sleep. I thought I don't go to sleep. Like, where did they come from?
Yeah.
Or this reel I posted the other day, not thinking anything of it. And then I posted at 11 o'clock at night, woke up the next day, it was already at 2,000 views.
Yeah.
So like that's also just a crazy thing to think about too, of how quick views can come. And like that's also important when you're growing your page. It's like keeping views and like reshares and people commenting on your posts.
I remember when I was...
What's the highest amount of views you've gotten on one of your posts, on one of your TikToks?
Oh God. I think it's at like 1.7 million.
She's like 1 point.
Yeah. Yes.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
That's a lot. Where
Who
are
are all
they?
these people?
Who are these people? Where do you live? Like,
Yeah. So it's a lot of people. 2 of my videos have gone into the millions. The rest are like just
I
little
can't
below.
wait for that to happen. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna react. Like when I get my first like million view video, which just has 1M.
Yeah.
Like, or just a million followers too.
Yeah. I don't even know what that would feel like. Yeah. But it is intense. It is because it comes quickly, right? Like the algorithm's always like when it gets traction, it shoots it out to a lot more.
And it builds up. It can build up quick.
Yeah, and so you go from seeing every single notification, oh, so-and-so liked your post, they left a comment, to all of a sudden it says 99 plus people liked it, or 10 plus comments. And so it's like, you don't even have the capacity to read all of this.
You don't, because it's so much.
And it's so much. And I am someone who put a lot of like care and love into the community. So I was always commenting to every person.
And it's like, when it gets to that point, it's like, how do you still keep that up?
Yeah.
To make sure that people don't, so the image isn't painted that, oh, like now she has like way too much followers, she doesn't have time for us anymore, you know, because that's like, as a follower standpoint, people could easily feel like that, especially if you're growing and you can't easily respond to every comment. It's like, oh, well, she just, you know, she doesn't care.
She changed.
She doesn't care about us anymore, even though we're the ones who got like...
Yeah, 100%. I don't ever want the people that follow me, because they don't have to. I don't ever want them to feel detached from who they originally followed.
Yeah.
And so I have people who literally followed me when I was like at 500.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
At
like
just starting.
the OG followers, if you shall.
Yeah.
And so to them, it's like to still see them in my likes and my comments. It's like,
it means like, okay, y'all are here for the ride. Okay.
Right, it really does. And so I always try to present myself in the same way. Not that anything's ever gone to my head, but again, there is that worry that people are like, oh, she didn't like my comment. We used to always have conversations.
Exactly. So now, like, what's happening with the switch up, you know?
Yeah.
But then I feel like the real ones who, like, know you will understand. It's like, she had, look at all these comments. Because I know I'll look at the comment section and be like, this person's not going to respond or like my comment when there's 2,000 plus comments in there. This is not, you know?
Unless it's a negative comment, then I'm like, I got time
if
for
it's
you.
a negative comment, I'm like, all right, I'm Twitter fingers right now. Like,
I'm gonna have time for you.
Oh my God, it gives me like a thrill when people like post negative comments, because that's like, the clapback is real. Like, I'm like, you're not right. And it's like, I'm gonna send, and if it's like nasty enough, I'll send something right back, and I'm gonna block you so you can't like.
Not the throwing stones and running.
I'm getting the last word today. Okay.
Boy, that's so funny. That is so
It's like,
funny.
we're not doing this on my page, but I'm gonna say what I gotta say, and then I'm blocking because I'm getting the last word.
Okay, so I'm not even gonna clock you for that, because I totally did that. I did that once, and I felt like, you know, I was like, I got my anger out.
Oh yeah.
So I had posted this video about me like redoing my handrails, because they were like this dingy, dark.
Talking about the handrails going up the
stairs. And so now they're painted black, and it's like giving them a new look, right? So it's like, first of all, it's relatable content, because not everybody has the money to go replace these.
Right.
Also, it's something very easy that you can do, and it's entertaining.
Yeah.
So the video got a lot of traction. That's one of the ones I got over like 1 million views. And I posted it on both TikTok and IG. And on TikTok, well,
Popped off.
it went off. But people were coming for my carpets. People are
It's
like,
always
your
the-
carpet is a crime.
It's always, it's always the people who is like, you. How did you see that in this video?
I don't
and why?
understand,
We're
yeah.
we're talking about this.
And it's also funny because they're like, where are your pants from? Link to the shirt. I'm like,
I'm like,
talking about my
I'm talking about my
walls.
walls right now. We're not talking about my
so
outfit.
that always throws
Stay
me
tuned
off.
for the next getting ready
Yeah,
video for me to.
It's very funny. But then on IG, I had this one girl who was just like, just spewing hate and talking about how, why did you paint them when you could have restained them? Like, you just, like, did this wood so wrong and da-da-da-da.
I'm like, let me see your house.
Yes.
Show
First
me-
of
show
all,
me your house,
it's always
because
people that don't have a profile picture.
That part. It's the spam people who don't have a profile picture. It's
And
like,
it has positivity in their
right,
bio.
you're hiding behind. I don't know how many people probably have access to your account who are
Yeah.
just out here just spamming. It's
Yeah.
always the people who don't have a profile picture, and those are the ones where it's like,
Oh, yeah.
block. I'm not even gonna respond back to you.
I slid into the DMs.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
you're better than me.
I took a screenshot, sent it
You're
to
like-
Jenny. Jenny, if you're watching this.
She said, "Oh, I slid in the DMs."
Yeah.
Direct inbox.
Yes. I was like, I don't know what gives you the right
The
to
right.
think that you can come onto someone's page and
When
comment
you don't
this.
even
You
have
would
a
never say
profile
this
picture.
to my face.
No, never.
First of all.
They would never say it to people's faces.
And so I went off. But
It
then I
gives them,
also
like,
got
a-
scared and I blocked her.
You're like,
It's like,
I don't want
the
her to-
clap back.
I don't want the clap back, or I don't want you to report my page
Yeah, so I
for like
immediately-
harassment when you started this. So
Yeah, it was just.
crazy.
But
Social
now I
media
got the
wild.
time. I'll just leave the comment up.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't care.
yeah. It's sometimes like no response is a response.
Yeah.
At some,
At some point, for
no
sure.
response is a response, and you're gonna be mad that I'm not gonna respond.
And you know the best part? Now that I have a community who's
Yeah.
like getting bigger.
they'll clap back for you.
Oh my gosh, they go to
Oh yeah.
more in the
oh
comments.
yeah. And that is where you build loyalty with your
Yes.
following to be like, okay,
I've been liking their comments.
just airplay on your TV and get some popcorn. Like, I'm just gonna sit back and watch
Yes, they do.
my followers count that for
Yeah,
me.
they're like, "What's it to you? It's
what's it
her
to you?
house." And so
But like, come pull up to my house
Yeah.
and see what's going on.
I find that really funny.
Yeah.
I'm like, I appreciate you guys because I don't have the time all the
You're
time,
like,
but
yeah.
you guys do.
Dude, of course,
So,
'cause
yeah, so it's really funny.
crazy.
It's an entire journey. It's
it is.
what started as a hobby as anonymous posting, right? Because TikTok is a platform where most people that you know in person are
Yeah.
not gonna
No.
follow you.
No.
And so you have this anonymity that allows you to have
Just
creativity.
It's like people
Yeah.
who you are friends with may not even follow you on TikTok.
Oh, 100%. And
But they
first,
follow you on Instagram.
and at first I would block people that I knew because I'm like, I don't want you to see this.
Yeah.
I don't-
Like,
I don't care.
really.
Right. And so, but now I don't care. I
Yeah.
I can't even control it. And so it's this place of anonymity where you can express yourself and it starts off as just posting here and there.
Yeah, and then it slowly starts to build traction,
Yeah.
and you start to get more comfortable with the platform. You start to get excited, be like, "I'm gonna create this TikTok." And
Yeah.
especially if you're getting brands to send you stuff, it's like you want to go create that
Mhm.
perfect video,
Yeah.
and then it just goes from there.
The earlier you mentioned the cabinet,
Yes.
the same one that I have.
Yes,
So
this
I
one.
have two of these, and one of them is painted black.
Yes.
That's a brand deal. A brand reached out to me, asked me to create a project for them. They would send me all the materials. They would pay me for the post.
So, like, the paint is the brand deal,
Yeah. It hasn't come out yet. It'll be posted
Still.
like in a couple days.
but even like,
yeah, but a project that I already
Right.
had in mind.
and
I was
you
gonna
went
do.
and got them regardless anyway because you wanted them.
Yeah.
And then the brand reached out to
It's
you.
like I was already
just like
gonna.
that.
Yeah, I was already gonna do this project. Now I just have someone who paid me the materials
Right.
and is paying me for my work.
Exactly. So it turned into something that was you were gonna do regardless, and then it turned into
Yeah.
being paid for it.
Yeah, it's totally crazy.
Crazy.
It
But
really
that's just
is.
how quick
Yeah.
whatever they needed for their demand, you attracted that.
hmm Yeah.
So
And so I'm like, okay, maybe I'll do the second one because
Yeah.
that one looks really nice. I think
yeah,
in my mind,
it's
it,
really
it
nice.
pops
The
really
black
nicely.
is really.
Yeah.
I think you should have more pop off colors of black,
Yeah.
like just around the house, like black.
Yeah.
Is really.
I think so. A lot of my accents are black.
Yeah.
And I want to bring in more dimension because I think when I first started homemaking and decorating this home. It was the first space that I truly could decorate on my own, right?
Yeah.
And so I went very safe with everything. I went with neutral what's going to work, what's going to go with each other. But now I'm like, I have that creativity and I've lost the fear, and so now I'm ready to like really challenge the style.
And now you're challenging yourself, challenging your style, and just going for it. Yeah. And I loved your backsplash, how you redid your backsplash. First of all, I give you the props because I couldn't do half of these things myself. I would have been messed up, especially the backsplash. You redid the stone on your kitchen center console and everything.
That entire island I built myself.
I would have been messed up. It would have been a little wonky. Put the stone on top, it all just falls and collapses.
Yeah.
I swear.
Yeah. I'm very stubborn.
Yeah.
You
make it known, you've said in your videos, you're like, I'm determined, I'm stubborn, I'm not trying to like mess this up. Like,
it's not even funny. Like if I get an idea in my mind, like I'm in bed and it's like ruminating and I'm thinking of how it's going to be possible. And it's like, you know what? I'm actually not going to sleep. I'm going to make a spreadsheet of how I'm going to do this.
But then that's also great because that's like just raw determination too.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I get the impulse and now we're on to a new project.
Exactly. Side question that I was waiting to ask. So with just everything and you being paid like by brands and growing on your platform, like would you want it to be like a full-time thing?
Ooh.
Like do you see that like one day you're just like either like you still have your job and you're working that like part-time and you're doing content and everything full-time, or completely like this is my source of income now and I can do whatever I want when I want, go and work from anywhere? And like do you see that? Because I mean growing on social platforms, that's kind of like you're at that point where it's like you can choose what path you want to work towards and open those doors for it.
It's a very interesting question, and I think it's something that I'm still like processing myself because, you know, just to be honest, I'm someone who really centers my life around my faith. And so my entire life I spent all of this time and energy growing in my career. Yeah. And I have the dream job that I always wanted. Yeah. I have the degrees, I have the accolades. And I'm in a spot where I'm pretty good. Yeah, you're content. Like I'm content. You're happy. You're satisfied. I can certainly grow in it too. Yeah. I've gotten opportunities presented to me where I can grow and I could be this corporate boss woman. I could see that. But I also have this different avenue that is also open, right? Yeah. And so I could see myself doing this at a full-time scale. You're doing so well at it. Like, I feel like once you get over that last hump of, like, jitters and nerves, like, because at the end of the day, that's what it really is that keeps us from, like, going to the next level. Yeah. It's open, but it's, like, if we want to. And, it, like, getting over those, like, nerves of, like, okay, what happens if I just say full send and that, like, and there's no turning back? And then it's, like, but it could be a blessing in disguise if you wanted to take that journey. Yeah. I could see it. And so, who knows, right? Like, I truly believe that God is the one that gave me this platform and is the one that's guiding it, and like for a reason too. Right, and for a reason. And so I'm kind of waiting on that revelation to see if first of all my career path and this is gonna merge. Right. And I can build something for myself there. Or if it comes to a place where it's like I have to choose. Right. And which one is he telling me to choose? Yeah. And so I'm keeping my mind very open. Yeah. But I do strongly feel a calling for both, which is kind of weird because it's like I'm being pushed in my career to grow and to like grow in that way. You're also being pushed over here and you're being challenged in this area. And then my social platforms are like exploding, getting so much traction. Yeah. I'm like, well, I don't know what's happening. You're like, I don't know. Going both ways. You're like, I don't know what you're trying to do, man, but I'm gonna wait until it's and it may not come today or next year, but like you know. Whenever it gets to that point, it'll present itself. But it's just like, just wanted to put that out there. Like, if it presented itself for you to be able to go full time in content, would you do it? You know, if you felt like that was what you were supposed to do. Gut reaction, yes. Because I see it. I see it when I watch your videos. I'm like, if you would have never told me you had a full time job, I would have thought that was your full time job. What makes you say that? Is that not the first time you've gotten that, or is that the? I hear people say that it's natural that you give off you seem like you're
like it just it just comes off very natural. It comes off like this is just you.
Interesting.
You know, it's like it's kind of like an undescribable, unexplainable thing, but it's like that's you. Like that's what you give off. You can do it very well. Like you're comfortable. You feel like you look like you're confident within it.
Thanks.
And it just seems like that's your place.
Thank you. That's
that's why I asked. I'm like, that just seems like she just looks like that's what you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And if you never told me you had a full-time job, I would have thought that was what you were doing.
That's so interesting because I just show up.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people just show up, but you just show up in a great way. Like
you're like, and they flop.
And, right, you're doing DIY stuff. Like not everyone can do that, and like I guess like how you even talk. Like it's very articulate. How you present yourself on social media in a way that comes off very natural too.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I just always... first off, I think it's interesting because I was a child who was very afraid to show myself. Like, after middle school, you know, the bullying starts and all that, and your light gets dimmed. Yeah. And so for me, that happened. Yeah. I was a super energetic child until I got to middle school, and then my light got dimmed.
Very dim.
And it took me until I graduated college to try to find myself again and find that spark and actually let people see me for who I was without the fear of being judged.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's all that repressed energy
coming out.
Where it's like, I want to be so known. I want to be so me. And it's like unapologetic.
But it's like,
me.
That's just who you were always supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it's just coming out now.
But it was like muffled.
Yeah. That's crazy because like that's how I feel like that's my discovery path.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm starting right now. It's like I'm just scratching the surface. I'm breaking out of that shy, like who cares, kind of just be who I want to be person. Yeah. You know? And it's like looking at the great things that could come from it with like getting an underwear brand, reach out to me, and I didn't even expect that. But it's like, okay, if that can happen and I'm like this, what could happen if I actually like really do it? You know? Lean into it all the way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool process to go through because you also start to rediscover yourself. Like I feel like we always know internally like our potential. Yeah. But once you see it start to come to fruition,
you get that rediscover like, okay, what's going on? All right, we have to shift a little bit of things. And, yeah.
So that's kind of a little bit of what happens, and in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is really just me showing people who I am. Yeah. And it seems to jive with a lot of people. It's
because a lot of people on social media don't act who they really are. They try to pretend to be something so they can grow and get that platform. And for some people it works and they get the platform and then they're not a genuine person off camera. Yeah. And people see that. But the people who are the same on and off camera, the presence follows over, those are the ones that really can like really go somewhere. Because, you know.
That's not sustainable.
It's not.
It's not sustainable to not be yourself because then you've got to keep up this front.
You do, and that's how people end up going crazy. Yeah. Because they put up a front when they're in front of the camera, and then when the camera's off, it's like they're a completely different person, or they're so, or when people DM them and reach out to them, they're like a nasty person. Yes, it's like you're not the same in your videos. So like, what's going on? You know.
They're like, oh, so you're only nice in front of the camera.
Really nice. Or when people try to label me as an influencer, I'm just like, I'm not an influencer. No. Influencers only are happy when they're showing off a product that they're getting paid to show off. I'm like, I'm doing this because I genuinely like what I'm doing. I'm not an influencer. Yeah. It's like whenever I post like a video or something, I'll like when I do my hashtags, I'll hashtag I'll put hashtag not an influencer on there. So because I'm not like I've never met not one influencer that was the same off camera that they are on camera.
That's very interesting.
You know, it's very, very. It's very slim, you know, or it's like they only get excited to promote whatever they're paid to promote.
Yeah, other than that,
it's like I'm not bashing all influencers, but it's a very bigger genre than the ones that are not, like the ones that are true with themselves.
I mean, it's a breeding ground for vanity.
It is. Very much.
It really is.
It is.
I would say it's... I had a thought and then I lost it. Yeah, I think for me, it's like, I don't know if in my DIY kitchen series, right? So I think it was really important for me because like I mentioned earlier, I tend to be a perfectionist. Yeah. And in a lot of my videos, I have to literally fight myself to post it because it's not perfect. Yeah. To post it because the end result wasn't what I thought it would be. Yeah. And so in that journey, in the kitchen journey, I literally had to show my entire process, which I think was healing for me as well, because it made me realize that a lot more people are also struggling with the things that I'm struggling with, and we don't even talk about it as much.
Right. So that it makes you kind of feel like how similar and connected you really are to people without even knowing who they are.
Yeah, when I'm like, you know what, I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to start, and I feel confident because, well, YouTube.
Exactly.
I've watched tutorials.
So
a lot of other people are just waiting for that little umph to start, and if seeing me start it without any experience is going to push them, then that's really the benefit in,
right, because I'm motivating you to do
Yeah.
something to see yourself in a new light than how you actually saw yourself.
The greatest compliment that I have gotten is you've inspired me or pushed me to do it on my own.
That part.
Not, oh, you did a great job. Okay, that's good for me. Thanks.
It's like, it's kind of like you want to be humble, but it's like, I know I did a good job. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't have posted it. But it's like, same with like when I would post my fitness stuff, it's like having people DM me being like, oh my gosh, like, can I come work out with you? Or like, oh my God, you really like inspired me to like want to get back into the gym and refine myself. It's like, those are the good compliments. Because it's like, I'm doing this because I genuinely want to just like do this and shed like more positivity like in the world, and it's working.
Yeah.
Even if it's small numbers, you know, because you never know if that person needed that in their life.
Oh, 100%.
And what's gonna happen from it for them.
Yeah. So that's the biggest compliment, to know that people seeing you succeed is also helping them succeed.
Exactly.
That's really where my joy comes from in posting, and so that's super cool.
All right, I think we covered all the bases. You feel like we covered?
I think so. I'm excited to see where your journey takes you.
It's just starting. So I have some news that I'll tell you, but I'll tell you off camera, because that's gonna be a lot. That's gonna be a lot longer of a video. That it's just gonna not merge and make sense, but it's gonna be great. I feel like I'm really just tapping into, like you said, this who I've wanted to be, but have kind of just like kept inside. It's like that scene from Frozen where like Anna's like, the doors are open. It's like, we're not closing them anymore.
We're just starting to fly.
We're just starting. We are just starting, and
we're in our baby stage.
And I'm really excited because I don't know where it could go, and I don't want to put a lane on it either. I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah. So.
Look at us.
Look at us. Look at us thriving over here. Social media people in the making.
Who would have thought?
I definitely wouldn't have thought. If you would have told me I was going to have a podcast last year, forget about it. I was like, you're crazy. I'm like, I'm not even trying to talk in front of a microphone to people I do know, let alone a platform of people I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know who's going to watch this video. There's no names. It just is numbers for how many views I get.
I feel that.
But it's been the beauty in it. I feel like I've always been a person who's wanted to talk and never knew what to talk about, and I've always been personable with people, and podcast just fits. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, I really like this.
The goal one day to have my podcast be like powered by like Spotify and like be able to go to their recording studios to record, and like just meet up at the studio today, like recording a new episode.
That'd be amazing.
And I know, right? It'd be so cool. Like
that really would.
It can happen. You just gotta keep growing. So.
Oh, excuse me. Consistency.
Consistency is the main part. Yeah.
If that's what you take from it.
Exactly. If that's what you take from any of this whole video, consistency in being yourself, being true to yourself, and authentically you, no matter what anyone has to say. And
your tribe will find you.
Exactly. Who is meant to be for you and who's meant to find you will find you.
Yeah.
The people who aren't meant to be, let them go.
Yeah.
Don't hold on to something that's...
AKA here.
Right. You know? Like...
Distracted. But yeah, thank you so much for having me.
This
was really fun.
Amazing episode. This
was really fun. We were both really nervous.
We were both very nervous, and look what happened from it. Once we broke out of that, we got a little bit of liquor, you know, but we broke out of our shells, and we got a great it's gonna be a great episode. I can't wait to post this.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
And hopefully this won't be the last time we can come on and 100%. Have more episodes in this season 2. So
here we go.
The first episode. Yeah. And now it's kind of for me. Now it's like, okay, this is setting the bar for the second season. So now it's like, okay, what am I going to talk about next? Because this was such a great, candid episode that now it's like, okay, the rest of them have to follow. They gotta follow. But that was great. If there's anything you want to say to the viewers, any positivity or a
message,
a
take-home message.
Yeah, faith, like message, like, you know, anything just that you want to leave people with.
I would say to not be afraid to step out in faith.
Yeah.
there's a lot of us who have dreams and desires in our hearts, and we are so afraid to take the first step. So it doesn't matter what it looks like when you're starting. It doesn't matter if it's your first episode, your first podcast, your first anything is probably not going to be your best, and that's okay. It's about starting, and once you get started, from there every other step will be guided.
Yeah.
And so whatever it is that you're dreaming for and hoping for, just take the first step. If it's going to school, just apply. Just take the first step.
Take the first step.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. That's it.
Nice.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.